The Way to Rainy Mountain by N. Scott Momaday. The Closing In, Part 1, pages 66 through 75. 19. On a raid against the Utes, one of the two brothers was captured. The other, alone and of his own free will, stole into the Ute camp and tried to set his brother free, but he too was captured. The chief of the Utes had respect for the man's bravery, and he made a bargain with him. If he could carry his brother on his back and walk upon a row of greased buffalo heads without falling to the ground, both brothers would be given horses and allowed to return in safety to their home. The man bore his brother on his back and walked upon the heads of the buffalo and kept his footing. The Ute chief was true to his word, and the brothers returned to their own people on horseback. After the fight at Palo Duro Canyon, the Kiowas came in, a few at a time, to surrender at Fort Sill. Their horses and weapons were confiscated, and they were imprisoned. In a field just west of the post, the Indian ponies were destroyed. Nearly 800 horses were killed outright. 2,000 more were sold, stolen, given away. Summer 1879. Zien Picado, Horse-Eating Sundance. It is indicated on the Set Tan calendar by the figure of a horse's head above the medicine lodge. This dance was held on Elm Fork of Red River, and was so called because the buffalo had now become so scarce that the Kiowa, who had gone on the regular hunt the preceding winter, had found so few that they were obliged to kill and eat their ponies during the summer to save themselves from starving. This may be recorded as the date of the disappearance of the buffalo from the Kiowa country. Thenceforth, the appearance of even a single animal was a rare event. Mooney. In New Mexico, the land is made of many colors. When I was a boy, I rode out over the red and yellow and purple earth to the west of Yumez Pueblo. My horse was a small red roan, fast and easy riding. I rode among the dunes, along the bases of mesas and cliffs, into canyons and arroyos. I came to know that country, not in the way a traveler knows the landmarks he sees in the distance, but more truly and intimately in every season from 1,000 points of view. I know the living motion of a horse and the sound of hoofs. I know what it is on a hot day in August or September to ride into a bank of cold, fresh rain. The sketch: a row of greased buffalo skulls. 20. Once there was a man who owned a fine hunting horse. It was black and fast and afraid of nothing. When it was turned upon an enemy, it charged in a straight line and struck at full speed. The man need have no hand upon the rein. But you know, that man knew fear. Once during a charge, he turned that animal from its course. That was a bad thing. The hunting horse died of shame. In 1861, a Sundance was held near the Arkansas River in Kansas. As an offering to Taimé, a spotted horse was left tied to a pole in the medicine lodge, where it starved to death. Later in that year, an epidemic of smallpox broke out in the tribe, and the old man Gapayatan sacrificed one of his best horses, a fine black-eared animal, that he and his family might be spared. I like to think of old man Gapayatan and his horse. I think I know how much he loved that animal. I think I know what was going on in his mind. If you will give me my life and the lives of my family, I will give you the life of this black-eared horse. Memedate was the grandson of Gapago, and he was well known on that account. Now and then Memedate drove a team and wagon over the plain. Once in the early morning he was on the way to Rainy Mountain. It was summer, and the grass was high, and meadowlarks were calling all around. You know, the top of the plain is smooth, and you can see a long way. There was nothing but the early morning and the land around. Then Mamedate heard something. Someone whistled to him. He looked up and saw the head of a little boy near by above the grass. He stopped the horses and got down from the wagon and went to see who was there. There was no one. There was nothing there. He looked for a long time, but there was nothing there. There is a single photograph of Mamedate. He is looking past the camera and a little to one side. In his face there is calm and goodwill, strength and intelligence. His hair is drawn close to the scalp, and his braids are long and wrapped with fur. He wears a kilt, fringed leggings, and beaded moccasins. In his right hand there is a peyote fan, a family characteristic. The veins stand out in his hands, and his hands are small and rather long. Mamedate saw 4 things that were truly remarkable. This head of the child was one, and the tracks of the water beast another. Once, when he walked near the pecan grove, he saw 3 small alligators on a log. No one had ever seen them before, and no one ever saw them again. Finally, there was this. Something had always bothered Mamedate, a small aggravation that was never quite out of mind, like a name on the tip of the tongue. He had always wondered how it is that the mound of earth which a mole makes around the opening of its burrow is so fine. It is nearly as fine as powder, and it seems almost to have been sifted. One day Mamedate was sitting quietly when a mole came out of the earth. Its cheeks were puffed out as if it had been a squirrel packing nuts. It looked all around for a moment, then blew the fine dark earth out of its mouth. And this it did again and again, until there was a ring of black powdery earth on the ground. That was strange and a meaningful thing to see. It meant that Mamedate had got possession of a powerful medicine. The sketch, things that were truly remarkable. The end of part 1. Look forward to the closing part 2.